Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off with giving all praises to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well today, who are the elders of not just Great Millstone but of all Israel. And salutations to the elect out there, pushing His word in truth and sincerity and all charity, making that election sure. All right, like our elder here, Malcolm says, and risking their lives to do so, their lives and their freedom, because ultimately, what's gonna happen is that, Esau Edom, which is a so-called white man according to scriptures, he's gonna come in as a troop, all right, as a flood, all right, pursuing to the book of Isaiah the 14th chapter. Um, I'll just get it real quick since Spirit, made me bring that out because this thing is serious, man. You know, the Most High, he's gonna put the spirit on these devils, all right, to come and destroy his people, man. And Esau doesn't, he's gonna put us in that same group, because he doesn't matter, he doesn't care if we teaching the truth or not. All right, he still looks at us as spics and niggas and tontos. All right, because he looks at us as inferior unto him, man. But you know, the time's coming, man. The Lord's gonna come and He's gonna lift up a standard. All right, and that's when First Corinthians 15 chapter comes to play, man. And when in the twinkling of an eye, we should be changed, man. The Lord's gonna you know Lord willing, with the hopeful, the elect, the hopeful elect, the Lord's gonna cause us to be changed in the twinkling of an eye, man. All right. So this is the book of Isaiah 13, and uh, that's a lot. I must have actually. It's not 13. I got Isaiah 13 and 14. Um, you know, uh, uh, mixed up, but I'll just read it, man. I'm gonna read verse 13. Isaiah 13 and 13. Salakia says, "Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall be removed out of her place, in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of His fierce anger, which is coming soon. And it shall be as a chased roe, as a sheep that no man take it up. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee after one into his own land." All right, now these other nations, especially Esau, Edom, they're gonna be as a chased roe, man, because the Lord's gonna bring vengeance upon them, man. All right, for touching the apple of His eye, man. You know, so when judgment comes, all right, you know, everyone is gonna come, to their own people, all right, and the men of the Lord, all right, and are gonna subdue these heathens, man. Whether it be the angels, all right, or Yahweh Shai himself, or the elect, man. All right, the Most High is gonna lift up a standard. All right, you know, let's get that real quick. Um, see if I spelled that right. Um, Slovakia. I believe in the book of Isaiah. Um, okay, here we go. Isaiah 59:19. It says, "So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and His glory from the rising of the sun." And why? Because His word is being brought out, man. And these people are starting to realize that what we're saying, all right, and what the scriptures are saying is true, and everything is coming, is fulfilling. Prophecy is being manifested, before everybody's eyes. But then it says what? When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him, man. So this enemy Esau Edom, his blessing was a sword. So he has all these different weapons, modern technology, all right, that men himself can't beat or overthrow this devil, man. And when they come in as a flood, they're gonna come in heavy, man. different troops, different types of military aircrafts. All right, tanks. They're gonna come in as a flood, man. You know, sweeping up a lot of our people, man. Scripture says 2/3 of our people should die in this land, man. Okay, but the elect should be saved out of it. All right. So the Spirit of the Lord should lift up a standard against him, man. And that standard, all right, is when the Most High, you know, makes that change, man. And he transforms, all right, the corruptible into the incorruptible, all right, because with the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we're gonna receive spiritual powers, man. It says them that wait in the Lord shall mount as eagle and run and not get weary, man. All right, they should jump over walls. All right, like back then, King David, he was strong enough, all right, to destroy 10,000, man. I believe it was either it was King David or I know Samson fought with a lion, or and King David fought with a bear, man. He fought with a bear, and I believe it was at his youth. So we're gonna have these spiritual powers, man. Hey, look, when you look at Samson, and that was a mighty man. All right, he was real strong. He had spiritual powers. All right. What is it? I believe it was forget his name. Joab's brother. He was able to sprint fast as hell, man. You know, like all these different abilities that we had in the ancient world. The Most High is gonna lift that standard up again, man. But way 10 times more, man. That it gets unimaginable, man. All right, because when the Most High, makes us incorruptible, the Lord's gonna put that new heart of flesh, inside us, where we're gonna be perfect, man, and sin not, man. But anyway, man, like I mentioned in the beginning, man, you know, the reason I brought that out is because that's future prophecy, all right, concerning the nation of or the tribe of Gad. All right, Gad is the North American Indians. All right, here in America, the indigenous of North America, man. All right, you guys are of the tribe of Gad. All right, and this is Genesis 49:19. It says, "Gad, a troop shall overcome him, man," and that's exactly how they were overcame, man. All right, when these European settlers, all right, and these conquistadors came all through North and South America, all right, they invaded us, all right, they pillaged us, all right, they stole our land, gave us diseases, raped our women, and put us into slavery, man. All right, it says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last, right? Because that Most High is gonna lift up that standard, man. Now it says a troop shall overcome him. I got some images here of Gad being overcome. All right, this is slavery among Native Americans. All right, in the United States. All right, and you see, these are the conquistadors. All right, you know, they're if you get closer image, they're being a lot of them being murdered. All right, they're being taken captives. All right, and that's what happened to Gad, man. You know, um, I was reading this article I want to go into. I was reading, and the same thing that happened to the southern kingdom, which are the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which are known today as the so-called Negroes, Haitians, and Benjamites, and Jamaicans. They went through the same hardships, man. All the tribes, man. All right, remember Deuteronomy 28:15. All right, was upon all the tribes, man. I'm gonna read it real fast. Deuteronomy 28:15. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." Now, what's one of the first commandments in the Ten Commandments? It says, "Thou shalt not have other god before me." Now, Gad, he was heavy on idol worship, man. All right, I'm gonna put how many gods did the North American Indians have? And probably over 100 gods, man. You know, uh, you know, you see now. Okay, my fault. So you go to North American religion, right? It says North American religions are spiritual practices of the indigenous people of the Americas. All right, blah 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 blah. I don't feel like reading all this, but let me see if we can find something. Uh, See, you got all these different goofy ghost stances. Like that is all a witchcraft, man. Ghost dance is a very general term that encompasses different religious revital, revitalization movement in the Western United States. All right, you got all these different customs, that mix with paganism, man. Remember, North Gad and North the North Americans, all right, they took a lot of customs from when they were under the Assyrian Empire. All right, uh, so I mean, they said, what are the Native American gods? All right, you got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight different, different, different types of gods that they were worshiping, man. You know, it says Native American tribes have maintained numerous mythologies regarding deities throughout their histories. Native American belief systems include many sacred narratives. Such spiritual stories are deeply based in nature and are rich with symbolism of season, weather, plants, animals, earth, water, sky, and fire. All right, and a lot of you know, and and Gad had a god for each different symbol, man. All right, the god of the rain, the god of the air. All right, the god of the sun, the god of the harvest. It says deities play a large part in these narratives. All right, now just click at the first one. It says the Abenaki. The Abenaki are a Native American tribe and First Nation. They're of the Algonquian speaking people of the northeastern North America. The Abenaki live in Quebec and in the Maritimes of Canada, in the New England region of the United States, a region called Wabanaki Dawnland. All right, the Abenaki are the five members of the Wabanaki Confederacy. Now that's just going into who they are or whatever, but they ain't really giving me, um, you know, um, nothing specific. Not but you go to these different museums, all right, and then the they'll let you know that they had different gods of the sun, gods of the rain. See if that comes up. Uh, They believe in different spirits. Now, yeah, it was spiritual, but they weren't incorporating that with the true God, man. You know, they got the sun God. I believe. But you get the point, man. It says, you get the point. I probably should have done some research before I did this lesson, or had something already prepared. But you see that these different, uh, 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 they had these different mythologies. Um, in these logs, it says North American groups of northwestern coast of the United States and Canada create carved and painted logs of wood called totem poles. The animals and spirits of these poles often come from Native American myths and folk tales. All right, and these Ungadi used to worship these logs of wood, man. All right, they worship this, and they reverence this, and then they idolize, idolize these these logs, man. you know so matter of fact, let's go logs of wood called totem poles. Let's go into that, man, because I know that was something that they know worship. It says a totem is an emblem such as an animal or plant that is believed to have spiritual significance and watches over the family, clan, or tribe, symbolizing their guardian spirit or helper. Refer to totem pole art and design. The word totem is derived from the Ojibwe Chippewa word Odo Den, meaning his kingship group. So you see, man, all right, they believe that this is what protected them, man. This was their hedge, right? They weren't reverencing Yahweh Shem Shai, man. They're reverencing these different deities, man, and that is why the Most High, all right, brought you know, Esau Edom, all right, to conquer them, man. You know, uh, you see, that's why they were privileged, man, for the disobedience and treason against the Most High, man. All right. Now I'm going to another article I had here. It says indeed in 1630s. This is Smithsonian.com. All right, the Smithsonian.com says indeed in the 1630s, Connecticut River. Now even this is more present, man. All right, because when Christopher Columbus came, I believe it was 15. It was still the 1500s, man. All right, but it says indeed in the 1630s, the Connecticut River Valley was home of the powerful Pequots. The settlers at Plymouth and Massachusetts Bay wanted the riches. All right, so Esau wanted, wanted what they had, man. All right, because that's what Esau wants, man. He can never be satisfied. It says it was a fertile land, and in order to get it, they persuaded Mohegan and Narragansett allies, right? So they used their own brothers, all right, to go against them, so they could possess that fertile land that they covered after after. So it says and they persuaded Mohegan and Narragansett allies to help them fight the Pequots. In 1637, they burned a village on the banks of the Mystic River in southern Connecticut, killing 400 to 700 Pequots. If I'm saying that right, Salakia. According to the Society of Colonial Wars in the state of Connecticut, the massacre turned the tide of the war, and Pequot survivors were pursued, captured, and sold as slaves, man. All right. So Gad and the other indigenous tribes, all right, they were sold as slaves. I mean, they were captured and sold as slaves, man. All right. It says King Philip's war in the mid 1670s, which fought to protest the English colonists encroaching influence and forced labor of Native Americans, ended with as many as 40% of Indians in southern New England living in English households as indentured servants or slaves, man. You see? So we went through the same curses, man, as Judah, all right, the so-called Negroes. All right, since English colonists weren't the only ones to use labor of enslaved indigenous people. Of course, the Spanish were almost totally dependent on Indian labor in most of their colonies. So not only was the English, which are another set of Edomites, but the Spaniards, man, which are Edomites as well, man. All right, so they we both you know the English and the Spanish, which are Edomites, you know, Esau Edom put us into slavery, man. All right. So enslaving Native Americans became one of the primary ways to expand the economy of colonists in South Carolina and to a lesser extent in North Carolina. Now we always say, that America was built on the backs of the so-called Negro and Native American Indian, man, and that's true. All right. We just read it right here, man. All right. The reason why America was so thriving was because they put us into slavery, man, and was one of the primary ways to expand the economy for colonists, man. So now you ask yourself, why was America so great? Was because the enslavement of our people, man. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right. So GAD, man, they should be GAD, these so-called Native Americans. Y'all should be rising up right now, man. Y'all should be fighting, for what's right, you know, because this truth, all right, opens up your eyes to who your enemy is, all right, and it gives you hope, man. A lot of our people, especially GAD, they living in the reservations, dirt poor, getting drunk off, hairspray, you know. Hey, it said I believe I saw this video. Native American women are one of the most are the top of women that get raped here in America, man. Why? Because of the condition that these devils have put our people in, man. Now I was gonna read a little bit more. Uh, okay, check this out. As the African slave trade. Now, matter of fact, I'm gonna read this real fast. As the African slave trade, which we weren't Africans, man, we're Israelites. All right, Hebrew Judites, man, Jews. As the Jew slave trade, which because they are Jews, man. All right, we fled to Western and Northern Africa. All right, after 70 A.D., man, our brothers. That's why you got these old maps in Africa. You got Fort Levi, Fort Judah. Why? Because that's where we settled at, man. You know, as the African slave trade took off in the late 1700s, the Native American slave trade waned. Now let's look up the word wand. Of the moon have a progressively smaller part of its visible surface illuminates, basically to I guess it decrease, diminish, and it's like it. And the only reason why it decreased because Gad rather die than to serve their enemy, man. All right, they were more stubborn. They're like, man, shit, man. What? I mean, I already lost everything. You know, all right, just die, man. I believe when these conquistadors came and forced Christianity and Catholicism on our people, all right, a lot of them would say if If this is, this is the way to receive go to heaven, then I'd rather be in hell, and then I'd rather go to hell, man, because they're forcing that Christianity by the edge of the sword. But a lot of our people don't know that, and they're the majority of our people that feel the Catholic and the Christian Church are you Native Americans and Hispanics, man. It says many remaining tribes had been pushed west, but something else was taking place that pushed the data down as well. Some Native Americans were intermarrying with African Americans. You see, man. Matter of fact, this perfect time to get description, man. I believe. I'll just get it if it's right. Uh. uh I think it's Isaiah 55, if I'm not mistaken. Jeremiah 50 and 33. It says, Jeremiah 50 and 33. It says, "Thus say Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel, which is the northern kingdom, you Native Americans and Hispanics, and the children of Judah, the so-called Negroes, were oppressed together. And all that took them captives held them fast, and they refused to let them go, man. All right, and you think these devils, all right, would want to let us go when we were the primary reason why their economy prospered, man, as we just read? Hell no, man. You know, these devils, you know, were prospering in our hands, man. It says, so it says they were intermarrying. Why? Because we're the same people, man. All right, that's why a lot of Reubenites, look the way they do, man. A lot of Seminoles, man. So the children were then referred to as colored, effectively erasing the Native American heritage. The enslavement of Native Americans thus became obscured. You see, so not just only the so-called Negroes are called colored, but as well as the Native Americans, man. So, this is it on this article. I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 28. I read 15. These curses shall overtake thee. All right, and I'm gonna read a couple curses that really apply. That stick out. All right, with Gad, man. It says Deuteronomy 28 and 20. It says, "And your house shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thy hands unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doing, whereby thou hast forsaken me." All right. Remember that, man. The Lord said you until we were destroyed and perished quickly. All right. Verse 22 says, "And the Lord shall smite thee with consumption, and with a fever, and with inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish," man. All right. Actually, verse 21, man, it says, "The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee." All right. Pestilence is also a disease, man. Weren't we infested with smallpox, man? Right here, man. I remember reading this in high school. This is the book. There's a book called Guns, Germs, and Steel, man. All right, and I'm just gonna read a small portion of this. It says, I'm skim, Lord willing, fast. It says much of the credit for European military success in the New World can be handed to the superiority of their weapons, right? Because they had the Gatling gun, which the Gatling gun was their first automatic weapon, and one of the reasons one of the main reasons why they took out Gad, man, because they had to find a better way to sufficiently win battles, man. But yet that was still a flaw, man, because as we read in the other article, it was already in the 1600s. They would still have to persuade their brothers, all right, to help them. Or matter of fact, to trade. They would betray their brothers to help their enemy to fight their battles, man. You see, says they're literally their literary heritage, even the fact they had unique load-bearing mammals like horses. These factors combined gave the conquistadors a massive advantage over the sophisticated civilization of the Aztec and Inca Empire. So they already were an advantage, right? Because what Esau was blessing was a sword, man. Pursuing to the book of Genesis was let me see if I'll get it. Um, uh, it's Genesis 27 and 40. That's how fast the apostles making a lesson earlier, how now it should increase. And that's how fast you get scripture, man. It says, by the sword shalt thou live, and shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou, matter of fact, it's a good name. It's still a good scripture. It says, by the sword thou shalt live, and they live by the sword, man. Don't they believe that they got the best military might in the whole world right now? They were the ones that used the first atomic bombs, man. It says by the sword thou shalt live, and shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, and that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Right? And they did break the yoke off our necks, man. Why you think that right now they're in rulership, man? So going back to the article I was reading. So it says, but weapons alone can't account of the breathtaking speed with which the indigenous population of the New World were completely wiped out, man. All right, and it's not it's and this it wasn't completely wiped out. It was because the Most High says there's no end of the nations, but when they say completely wiped out, the mass majority of them were wiped out, man. It says within just a few generations, the continent of the Americas were virtually emptied out of their native inhabitants. Some academics estimate that approximately 20 million people may have died in the years following the European invasion, man. And these fucking devils like to boast of 5 million Jews, which that's a fake number. All right. Esau himself will tell you that's a damn lie, man. Why? Because Esau is divided against each other. All right. It says their tongue shall fall upon them, man, or roughly paraphrasing, man. Because Esau is divided, and nation divided cannot stand, man. All right. The regular crackers hate these fake Jewish rats over there in Israel, man. So they tell on each other, man. It says, and they shall make their own tongues, you know, basically come against each other, man. Roughly paraphrasing. But it says, they like to boast of the 5 million, so-called 5 million, because there weren't 5 million Jews, so-called Jews, because they're really Amalekites, from the Khazar Empire. They like to boast that 5 million Jewish people died. All right, and what about these 20 million indigenous people that died are by the hands of your people, man? This is up to 95% of the population of the Americas, man. Nearly the the whole nearly the whole nation, man. It says no medieval force, no matter how bloodthirsty, could have achieved such enormous level of genocide. Check that out, man. Instead, Europeans were aided by a deadly secret weapon they weren't even aware they were aware, man. This Esau's bullshit, because they will infest it says smallpox. All right, it says I'll just continue reading. They weren't aware supposedly smallpox. So like, man, I'm getting excited, but these devils will infest will give what they will do is they would give blankets as a gift, and they would infest smallpox in them, man. And that's how they were infested. It says smallpox is a viral infection which usually enters in the body through the nose or throat, man. It says from here the virus travels through the lungs, wherein it multiplies and spreads to the lymphatic system. Within a few days, large uh, pustules begin to appear all over the victim's skin. All right. So this is what they would do, man, to our people, man. Which, which the Lord said it would happen, man. It says the Lord. I'll read it again, Deuteronomy 28 and 21. And Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, man. You see? All right, check out this Gadai, man. This, you know, you see all these different wards, and what they call it, what uh all these different blisters. So starting with the hand and the face and then spread to cover the rest of the body, each blister is packed full of smallpox DNA. If punctured, these blisters become highly infectious, projecting fresh smallpox particles into the air and into surrounding surfaces, such as someone else's skin. It is a disease that requires close human contact to replace and survive. All right. Hey, so hey, man, these diseases, the smallpox cleaved onto them, man, as you see here. So it says, until ye have consumed, till he had consumed thee from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. It says, and the Lord shall smite thee with consumption and with fever, all right, because a smallpox would give you fever, all right, raise your temperature up, and with inflammation, ain't blisters inflammation, your skin and being it's inflammation, all right. It says it becomes inflammation and localization, physical condition of blister, which is in which part of the body becomes reddened, swollen, hot, and often painful, especially reaction of injury or infection. It was an infection. It was a virus. You see. So it says, and it wasn't not just smallpox. There was other diseases. All right, the Black Plague. All right, with extreme burning and with sword and with the sword, right? We read that the weapons they had was they had them in a had them with a massive advantage against the Aztec and the Inca Empire, you know. But so like it says, with sword and blasting, with mildew, and they should pursue thee until thou perish. And we did perish, man. 95% of the population perished, man. Hey, that's hell of a judgment onto our people, man. That's why right now, man, we should be walking in meekness, man. It says it was in our mind to go straight, uh, um, you know, therefore return, seek the Lord 10 times more, man. Okay? That's what you guys, man. Y'all should be rising up, man. Where you guys still sleeping, man? World War III is about to pop off, and y'all still, tweaking, man. Where y'all at, man? Now we know there's certain Gadites among the tribes, but you don't really see a camp with majority of Gadites, man. But everything's the Lord's will, man. We can't force the course of the water like the scripture says, man. Everything has its season. But what we try and do is provoke you to good work, man. Like, damn, man, like you see what these devil did unto you, and you still, taking their shit, man. All right. It says, now I got a couple few points. My battery's about to die out here in this laptop. Uh, but and I'm just gonna get to the main point. It's Deuteronomy 28 and 48. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy necks, right? We just seen, uh, um, we got yoke of iron upon their necks, man. As you see here, man. All right. Says until he have destroyed thee. Says, and Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far off, from the end of the earth, as a swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, man. All right. And these devils came in, speaking English, all right, Spanish, Portuguese. Why you think? Why you think in Brazil they speak Portuguese, man? Because that's what their oppressors gave them, man. Why you think we speak Spanish? Because that's what the Spaniards gave us, man. Why you think the so-called Negro speaks English and not the tongues that they would speak over there in Africa? Why? Because we were oppressed, we were captured, man. And this is Nate and Gad, all right, being in servitude to these devils, man. And to this day, they show us no mercy. And look at, you see, this man has a cross, man. And that's how they force Christianity and Catholicism into us, man. All right. Fierce nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Look, here we go again. Now it says, verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard person of old nor show favor to the young. And they didn't, man. Matter of fact, this is I skipped verse 49. And the Lord shall bring a nation against you from far off, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, man. Why is there an eagle in the Mexican flag today, man? Because that's our oppressors, man. All right. Now they want to give that story. I was spiritual, how eagle landed, and and that became the Tenochtitlan, whatever. Hey, there's some truth to that, but really it's because of that's their symbol, man. That's their you know that's what they represent, man. You know, but you know, it's about it, man. You know, uh, yeah, I mean, it's about it. So, man, hey, Lowen, this video was edifying. All right, you Gadites are or you Native Americans are the tribe of Gad. And then I went into other tribes as well because when you go back to history, all 10 tribes came in, and came here and you know and dwelt here before these devils came in and captured us, and invaded us, and pillaged us. So with that, man, I hope this video was edifying. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect out there pushing His word in truth and sincerity, not charity. Till next time, I say Shalom, Wa Bad Wa Ba.